play a role on both the sides. First of all, someone has to create the jobs, and we play some role in that. And then second, you must have enough talent, pipeline, supply for people to aspire for those jobs. Hyderabad has become the most preferred location for GCCs. Data actually shows that. Last 2 years in a row, Hyderabad received the largest number of GCC deals as compared to any other cities. Significant announcement in the budget is about a scheme for farmers. It has been announced that in the 100 most districts where the agricultural productivity is possibly very low, crops are not really grown successfully, farmer incomes are low. So the government has introduced a new scheme where these 100 districts across the country will be supported to improve agriculture productivity, agriculture production, farmers' incomes, minimize crop losses. Let's look at cybersecurity from two levels. So one is, of course, government's own databases. As you know, government is a custodian of a huge databases.
Hello, you're watching The Mainstream. I'm Khushbu Soni, founder and chief editor at The Mainstream. Well, I'm super excited to share a frame with none other than Shri Jayesh Ranjan, who is the Special Chief Secretary for Department of IT, Electronics and Communication and Department of Communications and Commerce for the Government of Telangana. Sir, thank you so much for...
My pleasure.
Fantastic. So to begin with, I actually wanted to, put my first question to understand what are the key priorities that you're working on in terms of as a government initiative for the state of the Telangana to increase job employments in the technology space and also transforming the entire state to become very focused in India.
So we play a role on both the sides. First of all, someone has to create the jobs, and we play some role in that. And then second, you must have enough talent, pipeline, supply for people to aspire for those jobs. So there also we are playing a very critical role. So now to elaborate a little on both these aspects. For ensuring that there are enough number of companies who come and set up their units in Hyderabad, we have a very focused approach. For the last 11 plus years, that Telangana is becoming a new state. This has been one of my priorities, to reach out to as many companies as possible who are exploring India or who already have a presence in India but don't have a presence in Hyderabad, or who have a small footprint in Hyderabad or Telangana and potentially can expand that footprint. So I have been focused on this aspect, and I'm happy to share with you that in the last 11 years, the result has been very, very successful. In fact, today, Hyderabad is home to the second largest head offices of the top 5 tech companies of the world. You name them: Apple, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Amazon. Outside their US headquarters, each of them have their second largest presence in Hyderabad, which is an amazing coincidence. And even other companies like Salesforce, Qualcomm, ServiceNow, and so many of them. And of late we have started focusing on GCCs, BFSI GCCs, life sciences GCCs. So the momentum is very strong, and over a period of time we have seen the city also. 10 years ago there were hardly some 600 odd tech companies. Today that number is touching 1600. And so that is one part, and I continue to remain focused on that, getting more and more companies look at India, look at Hyderabad. And we give them that assurance, that comfort, give them that sense of confidence that if they take a decision about Hyderabad, they will be supported in every possible way. Now, one of the important things everyone looks at is what is the talent which is available. And that is again a very important responsibility of the government. How do you ensure that the students who are joining the job market, they have the right kind of skills? More than skills, they also have the right kind of finishing, because this is a comment which we typically hear about students. I mean, not from not about students who are from, let us say, an IIT or a triple IT, etc., but students who are from government colleges, particularly small rural colleges, remote colleges. There is always a comment that they may have an understanding of technology, but their finishing is not very good. So, as a government, we take responsibility to improve their skills, to give them finishing edge, and make them employable. Even the people who are already in the workforce, upskill them, etc., etc. So again, this has been a good success for us. From 10 years ago, the Hyderabad tech landscape used to employ about 350,000 people. That number has touched a million now. So on both fronts, getting companies to establish their centers and getting people job ready, students and young candidates job ready, and get them mainstreamed in this kind of opportunity. That has been a big success for us.
Fantastic. So you mentioned about GCCs in India. So absolutely, I mean Hyderabad now has 400 plus GCCs and it is growing every day. India itself has been seeing a lot of global companies coming to India to set up their operations, and Hyderabad being the most preferred location for all the MNCs. And we see almost 115 new GCCs coming in every day. And what is that message that you would like to give to MNCs who would want to look at Hyderabad as a location, to look at setting up their tech operations or their captive centers?
Yeah. So, as you yourself pointed out, Hyderabad has become the most preferred location for GCCs. Data actually shows that. Last 2 years in a row, Hyderabad received the largest number of GCC deals as compared to any other cities. So, if you ask those hundreds of GCCs who are present here, what is it that attracted them to Hyderabad? So, if you ask anyone, they will mention 5 points. I won't elaborate on each of them, but just by describing what these 5 points are briefly, will give you a good understanding of the USP of Hyderabad. So, the first thing they speak about is talent, and of course, not to say that there is no talent in other Indian cities, but the talent here is as far as the best that they could get anywhere. And some of it has happened because of proactive government intervention. We have ensured that all our colleges, of course, I'm again not speaking about the IITs and all, they take care of themselves. But a small government college, a rural government college, even in these kind of colleges, we have ensured that they upgrade their syllabus, they teach latest technologies, their faculty receives training, the faculty is able to coach the students well. We have a government institution called TASK, the Telangana Academy of Skills and Knowledge. Whatever the college is not able to teach, those are supplemented through task modules and so on and so forth. So, skill differentiator is very strong. And 2, 3 additional things which the companies appreciate about talent from Hyderabad is one, of course, the attrition levels are much lower. That is a part of the culture here. And second, the talent is found to be more hardworking, more responsible. And of course, as compared to a few other cities with whom we compete directly, the talent also comes at a lower cost. So the talent package is very strong. The other very compelling attraction of Hyderabad is the strong value proposition on the infrastructure. So you are here today in Hyderabad, you would have driven around, you would have seen how the airport experience is, how the commute experience is, how the social infrastructure is. Most importantly, how affordable all this is, and how the air quality and the greenery and so on and so forth. So the value proposition on infrastructure is the best. Hyderabad has been rated as the most livable city across the country year after year after year. So that again is a strong driver. The third very important thing, and this is becoming more and more important of late, particularly in the last 5-6 years, which is about innovation. See, today I am not coming across even a single company which is not focused on innovation. Companies across the world, whatever is the domain, it could be a BFSI company, life sciences company, whatever it is, they all realize this, that if they do not innovate, they are going to perish.
Absolutely.
And in Hyderabad, so I'm not making any false claim that Hyderabad has the largest innovation ecosystem. If I say anything like that, I'll be misleading you. There are other cities which are bigger innovation ecosystems. But what is special about Hyderabad is that for a corporate, it is very easy to plug into this innovation ecosystem. And in other cities, that is the feedback they share with us, that they really struggle if they have to engage with startups, if they have to discuss a problem statement, if they have to run a hackathon. It becomes a struggle elsewhere. But in Hyderabad, we have created a pathway in which it is very, very simple. The fourth important thing which they all appreciate again is that there are a large number of communities. We have created for every GCC vertical a particular community. So, for example, there is a BFSI consortium, there is a life sciences consortium. So, all life sciences GCCs which are here, there are 30 plus of life sciences GCCs, there are 70 plus BFSI GCCs. So, they all work together, they collaborate, they meet up, they discuss common issues, the government facilitates lots of interface, problem solving, and so on and so forth. So, that sense of community and the feeling that collectively they have a voice, they can tell anything and get an answer, that is very strong in Hyderabad. And the last thing is, of course, the support which they get from the government. Everyone speaks about how responsive, how accessible the government is. And again, I feel very proud about it because I have really worked hard to give that impression, to make systems and procedures very easy for corporates to access here. And so this is the totality of the package that Hyderabad offers. And as I said, in fact, I'll not be exaggerating if I say this, that not even a week passes literally that we don't get some new GCC offer or some deal or some closure. So momentum is very, very strong in Hyderabad state.
Absolutely, and I think infrastructure supports.
Yes.
With all the advancements that's happening in the city and in the state as well, it's infrastructure that supports. So with the recent union budget 2025, there is a solid commitment from the government side, right from 500 crore on the Center of Excellence for AI in the education, as well as 10,000 crore in the deep tech for startups. So with that vision and the support from the government, how do you see the state of Telangana, capitalizing on this, and also, looking at supporting startups on the space?
See, so in fact, it's again nice that you have asked this question because immediately after the budget was presented in the parliament, there were typically, like it happens everywhere, there were some post-budget discussions
Yes.
here as well, and one newspaper had organized a post-budget panel, so I was also invited. And I made one point there, which I'll repeat now. So what I see more fascinating in this budget, more exciting in this budget, is the opportunities it is opening up for startups, for entrepreneurs, for innovators. Funding and all is there, which is
Right.
great. So many people have not noticed, but the budget actually starts after the opening comments, etc., etc. The first significant announcement in the budget is about a scheme for farmers. It has been announced that in the 100 most, I don't know, they won't be called backward districts, but the districts where the agriculture productivity is possibly very low, crops are not really grown successfully, farmer incomes are low. So the government has introduced a new scheme where these 100 districts across the country will be supported to improve agriculture productivity, agriculture production, farmers' incomes, minimize crop losses, and so on and so forth. And we have seen this throughout the country, throughout the world, and I've seen this in Telangana. I personally implemented programs in this respect in Telangana. That one of the most important interventions is technology. If you want to improve productivity, improve production, you can't do away with technology. And today, who are the people who are providing these technologies? Most of them are startups. So a huge opportunity is opening up. Similarly, there are some important announcements about health, about nutrition, the Center of Excellence on Education. So education COE was announced in this budget, but in the previous budget also 3 COEs were announced. And Obviously, all four of them will start rolling out, and they also will engage with startups to a large extent. So, money and all is fine. The 10,000 crore that you spoke about, fund of funds. Then there are some loans which can be given with easy terms, lesser collaterals, lower guarantees, and all that, which is all fine. But as I said, the impressive thing about this budget is that lots of new opportunities are opening up, and our attempt in Telangana will be to ensure that our startups, the homegrown startups, they maximize on all these opportunities.
Fantastic. So this was a great conversation. So any one last piece that I would want to definitely cover on is the cybersecurity perspective. So how do you look at cybersecurity and organizations in Telangana? What are some of the measures that you suggest them to must have when looking at cybersecurity?
See, so unfortunately, cybersecurity, or let us say cyber crimes, has become a very unpleasant and a very adverse consequence of digitalization. As the world becomes more and more digital, this is a reality which we will have to accept. Let us look at cybersecurity from two levels. So one is, of course, government's own databases. As you know, government is a custodian of a huge database. Most of government operations are digital. So in that sense, we have a very robust system. We have a Security Operations Center, or SOC, which has state-of-art incidents monitoring tools. We also subscribe to some global networks, etc., etc. So, fortunately, in the last 11 years that Telangana has become a new state, we haven't had any issue of any of our websites or any databases or servers getting attacked or targeted or brought down. Everything has remained safe. So we are quite adept at protecting ourselves quite well. But at the same time, I should also admit that there is one more level of cybersecurity, which is at individual level. I mean, people get hacked, their money is stolen, they fall prey to all kinds of ransomware and digital arrest and all those things. So I won't say that our track record is very, very rosy. I do see large number of cases of this kind happening, and we are not an outlier. There are these things have become more and more common, but at the same time, we have not been able to bring it down to an acceptable level. In my opinion, it is still a matter of concern. So more awareness, more guidance, and the reality is, all of us know that in India, particularly from the rural or let us say semi-urban areas, a new generation of digital users are coming. Many of them are not familiar with English. They are first-time users of devices, particularly sophisticated devices, etc., etc. So they are also vulnerable. They are potential victims, and people capitalize on their ignorance. So awareness is being created, but there is no limit to it. I mean, the more you make people aware, the deeper these messages go, the better it will be. And I admit that in that respect we have to do quite a lot, but everything else is quite under control, and we are doing pretty well with that.
Fantastic, fantastic. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan. Thank you so much for joining us on the mainstream.
Thanks for having me here.
I hope today's event, you came today and you gave a session. Thank you for that as well, for taking out your time from the busy schedule. Thank you.